Hi, and welcome to The Hero Spouse. I'm Kendra Ruth, here to answer one of your questions about marriage and midlife crisis. Today we have M, a female left behind spouse. Her date of bomb drop is February of 2021, and her date of marriage is 1995. She has a Vanisher who is a high energy replayer. She says, I've made a lot of mistakes. I pushed my husband away and he filed for divorce. The date of our anniversary, is that when he filed for divorce? On your anniversary? At that point, I was so hurt and shocked. I think when I discovered the new physical affair, it was previously an emotional affair. Well, both of those things, the anniversary and discovery of the affair, I'm assuming, really hurt. Though you can't compete with them anymore. Right now, he's out of the country, living together with his physical affair partner, with his alienator. He texted me that he's coming back soon to live with us. I don't want him to come home if he's still with his alienator. I'm sure he is. The limerence is very strong. I don't know what to do, and still pursuing the divorce. It doesn't say I am or he is. I was assuming I am. But I'm not sure. I know he's gotten crazier because he's in more replay. But there's this other side of my mind that he'll come back and fix everything. And yet, you know that's not it right now. So let's look at it a few ways. First, some of the questions I have is, he texted you to say he's coming back. Was this out of the blue a text? You say he's a vanisher. So how often do you have texting contact? It sounds more like he might have been a boomerang if you had a text, unless you hadn't heard from him for 6 months and he just texted you to say he's coming back. That's really strange for a vanisher, someone who hasn't been having regular, at least some form of communication with you. He will come back to us to fix everything. It hasn't been long enough. Let's just say someday that is what happens. I wish it were in general like everybody, but let's just say, but it wouldn't be yet. You're at a year and a half almost. That's still the beginning. It could be the ending of replay or not. This is 18 months is the first point where I say, okay, they could be coming from replay, but maybe not. I see replay go a lot longer. So what I'm saying is this is the first time I would say there's a possibility that escape and avoid. They could be coming through it and going into the next phase. I don't want anyone to take that as the odds are good of that. So that being said, he's not coming back to fix everything right now. Not at all. And one of the things I want you to set a boundary and say no to this, because it's your place, your residence, your place of peace from him. But also, I'm curious about the back and forth that you've had. Did he just, after many months of not hearing from him at all, that's what a vanisher is. If you don't hear from him for 6 months, you've got a vanisher. And by meaning, he hasn't given you a message through another person. I don't mean that you haven't heard about him from another person, but he hasn't sent a message with an intermediary or anything. That would be a vanisher. Sometimes with vanishers, you don't hear anything for them. And you don't know if they're alive or dead sometimes. That's a vanisher. Off and on, every 3 months you might hear from them. Then boomerang. It could be a month, every month. It could be even every 2 months, regularly. It gets fuzzy in there. But with a vanisher, they're gone. So I think some of the dynamics aren't as they're being played out here, because it might not be a vanisher situation. But I do want you to put up strong boundaries. He doesn't get to just say, I'm moving home now. He needs to say, I would like to come home. Am I welcome to? Then I would still say, no, I want you to come home someday, but we're not ready for this. He's not going to come back to fix everything. But I do want you to ask him, what do you think you're coming home for? I'm trying not to say why. But what's not great. But what is the purpose that you're coming home? I want to say, why are you coming home? But change it to, what is your purpose? What do you think you're going to gain by coming home? Because sometimes they're coming home because I just, you know what, I'm having some financial difficulties. I need a place to stay. It has nothing to do with you. Or they'll say that is the reason, but they'll make you think that it's coming home for you. Or they're being desperate like a clinging boomerang, want to be with you and say it didn't work out over here. Maybe sometimes they think it's because you're the second option. Well, I have my backup. Now, just for those of you right now, you could be backup, second choice, that sort of thing. But as a reassurance to everyone who's like, I don't want to be their backup option. When it comes to the real thing later on and rebuilding, you're not the backup option. Right now, yeah, and you don't want to be that. I want you to tell him, you know what, if you're going to come home to live here, you need to ask my permission. I get to say who lives in the household where I'm at. And no. What do you think we're going to accomplish? How are we going to do this after what you've done? And you are allowed to now ask him, are you still with her? Then no. And then you could say, then no. Now listen to his answer. That doesn't mean you believe it. But I'm curious whether some of them will just say, yeah, I am. Or yeah, I'm only coming home because we got in a fight and she kicked me out. Or, we need more information. He's not coming back to fix things. He's still in replay, most likely. Yes, you're right. So I want you to set a boundary and I want you to communicate with him. He's a vanisher, supposedly, if he doesn't initiate very many communications with you. But if he responds to your communications, that's still not vanisher. Unless he doesn't respond for 6 months. I want you to reach out to him and get more information about why he's doing this. And about the alienator. Are you still seeing her? What happened? Maybe you can get some information. That can just help you get a bigger picture. And you need to say, you don't just get to waltz back in here because that's what you want. A relationship with me is a decision that both of us need to make. Oh, I just wanted to stay in the house. Well, that's also a decision that the person in the house who's already there needs to make. Okay? It's going to be hard. This is always hard because we're balancing our big goal and our dream with reality and what needs to be done and how to get to that dream. And oftentimes we're in denial and we think, well, they're just going to come and waltz in and everything's going to be better. But that's rug sweeping. Okay. So I hope this was helpful and I'll see everybody in the next question.